Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Ciryl Gane takes place this weekend in the main event of UFC Fight Night Vegas 20, Rozenstruik versus Gane, and I can't wait for yet again another heavyweight clash just like last weekend. I've almost just got over seeing Curtis Blade's body go limp. Now it's time to watch another heavyweight bout in the main event. It's getting the spotlight. This was not the original main event of this card, however I'm glad that now it has got the spotlight of a main event, because the winner of this one is going to be looking at title elimination bouts in the heavyweight division next, and maybe a matchup with Derek Lewis in the future to decide who will get a title shot after we figure out what's going on in the top of the heavyweight division with Jon Jones coming along. So this is a very important fight. The loser in this one loses a lot. The winner of this one wins a lot and puts himself in a great position. Rozenstruik versus Gane, two great heavyweights in my opinion, two new generation heavyweights. I know we've already seen Rozenstruik baptized by Ngannou. However, we haven't really seen Gane be stopped yet in the UFC at all in his career even, because he's undefeated so far, completely perfect record, never really shown any signs of problems in a fight. I mean, the only time that he had any kind of trouble, and I'm using the word trouble here very leniently because he didn't have any trouble, he just schooled Tanabosa for 3 rounds, but I'm just calling it trouble because Tanabosa was not finished like every single one of Ciryl Gane's opponents so far in his career. And I like Ciryl Gane in this bout. I think he's going to go out there, school Jairzinho Rozenstruik and finish him with a TKO maybe in the second round. I'll call it in the second round. I like Ciryl Gane striking far better than I do Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I've sat here last night watching Jairzinho Rozenstruik on the left-hand side of my screen, Ciryl Gane on the right-hand side of my screen, both guys fighting JDS, and it was just night and day the difference between the pair of their striking abilities. I mean, Ciryl Gane's a lot more of a kicker. Jairzinho will throw some kicks, but it'll mainly be some inside leg kicks, some little tappy ones. He's not trying to reach you with kicks, he's just trying to tap you and let you know that he's there with his kicks, and he did a lot to Francis Ngannou early in their bout, did it to Alistair Overeem, done it in a lot of his bouts recently, a lot of that inside leg kick move, a little bit of a teep as well now and again, just nothing really too powerful, but he's just finding his range for his hands. Eventually when those hands land, it can be issues, as we saw in a JDS bout. Jairzinho Rozenstruik has lights off power, except when he fights Alistair Overeem until the 5th round, which is crazy to me. I have no idea how that even makes sense, because he was just KOing everyone. JDS in the second round, Andrei Arlovski in the first round with a punch that didn't even look like it had any power behind it whatsoever. Alan Crowder with a jab that again did not even look realistically that powerful. Like, it wasn't like an Usman Gilbert Burns jab where you can tell there was a lot of impact behind it. It was just like a little, oh, there you are. Oh, you're unconscious in front of me. Okay, Alan Crowder. Then he goes to Junior Albini, gets a head kick TKO, but that fight was a little bit risky with Junior Albini, and we'll get into those fights after that, but he does have some great KO power. I do give him the KO advantage here over Ciryl Gane. I just feel like Ciryl Gane's striking is just on a completely different level, and I know that it says that both of these men are 6'4", but both of these men are not 6'4". I don't know why they are just refusing to update their database here. Jairzinho Rozenstruik is like 5'11", 6 foot tall. Maybe 6'1", actually. Maybe 6'1". Maybe I'm over-exaggerating things because of the lie that has been told for so long. Maybe he's around 6'1", but this man is not a big heavyweight, and the fact that they continue to have him listed at 6'4" is just nothing more than blatantly lying to everyone. Everyone has watched his weigh-ins non-stop. Tapology people, whoever is updating Tapology, have watched a Jairzinho Rozenstruik weigh-in, and they can visibly see that he is many inches shorter than these men that are actually 6'4". Yet he is still listed that way, but he is a small guy for the heavyweight division. Someone in my video the other day in my comments mentioned that he maybe could go down to light heavyweight in the future. I could see that in all honesty. He's 254 pounds. It's not like good weight to have on his body. I could definitely see him trimming down to like 225, getting in real lean shape, like a Jared Cannonier career move path down the divisions. Maybe we'll see him at middleweight fighting for a title or a title elimination bout at one point. Who knows? I never thought I'd see Jared Cannonier when he was at heavyweight fighting for a title elimination bout at middleweight, so anything can happen. But I just feel like Jairzinho Rozenstruik's going to lose this one. He hasn't got too much reach, 78-inch reach, 83-inch reach for Ciryl Gane, and in the Alistair Overeem fight, and I feel like I'm going to look at some of the not losses, because he won the Alistair Overeem fight, but the losses of Jairzinho Rozenstruik's career so far, where he hasn't looked the best, because it's really hard to tell what someone's going to do and how good they are when they just catch you in the first round. You know what I mean? Like when he catches Andrei Arlovski blitzing forward with his chin up in the air with a check hook, it's really hard to take anything away from that other than the fact that he can KO people. Welcome to the heavyweight division. A lot of guys can KO people. But when you look at other fights that have been a little bit extended in Jairzinho Rozenstruik's career, the Overeem fight is stinky. It really is a stinky, stinky fight. And so is the Junior Albini one. People forget about the Junior Albini fight and talk about the only bad performance of Jairzinho Rozenstruik's career was against Alistair Overeem. In Junior Albini's fight with Jairzinho Rozenstruik, he was on his back like the majority of the first round, losing the first round. Catches Albini with a shot in the second and finishes with a head kick. Does amazing there, but that's Junior Albini, man. Don't get controlled on the ground for the first round, please. Ciryl Gane would not be in that position against a Junior Albini. I believe that Ciryl Gane would completely destroy Junior Albini like he's absolutely nothing and dance around him and make him look like a fool. Ciryl Gane does not have these performances in his career against these tests where he shows that there's problems. And Jairzinho Rozenstruik does, which is exactly the reason why I'm picking Ciryl Gane in this bout, in the Alistair Overeem bout. I know it is a win, but I almost see it as a loss. He was losing that fight. Now, I do want to say, he was doing better than people remember. I've rewatched the fight many times since that fight has happened and in the lead up to looking up who I believe is going to win in this one. He actually might have stole 2 rounds, in all honesty. Like on the current scoring system, you know how they gave Yana Kunitskaya the fight against Ketlen Vieira? I don't mind maybe the idea that Jairzinho Rozenstruik, first of all, definitely wins a round of that Overeem bout, but also could have snuck another round in there. But I feel like Overeem was overall winning the fight, definitely. In the 5th round, he kind of got a little bit like knowing that he's won in his own mind, and he was just like scooting around the outside trying to play out the clock. Jairzinho catches him with a big right hand, splits open his lip. Alistair gets up a little bit dazed, not knowing what's going on, and they stop the fight. A little bit of a weird stoppage, but still, if Jairzinho didn't walk off and just followed up with a couple ground and pound shots, I'm sure that Overeem would have been out cold there. So I do count it as a win for Jairzinho Rozenstruik, but it was a worrying performance watching him getting taken down. And not only watching him getting taken down, because people forget, he was only taken down twice in that bout. There was a lot of moments with him and Alistair Overeem, old man Overeem, on the feet. And Overeem was doing really well. He was doing really good. He was landing big shots over the top of Jairzinho Rozenstruik's guard, straight on the chin. And if Overeem is doing that with his reach, you've got the extra 3-inch reach of Ciryl Gane. I feel like a better striker with more conviction in his shots, that's not worried about being switched off completely out cold if any punch lands, like Alistair Overeem is at this point in his career. Overeem is a shell of himself. I'm sure we can all agree, although he still somehow manages to get it done with his grappling in certain fights. He is a shell of himself. He knows he can't take clean shots. He shells up against the cage. He takes shots, rides them out, he basically holds his head in position to stop the whiplash manually with his hands on his head. It's very strange the way Overeem has been fighting since he's been chinned so many times, but still, he was able to take good shots from Jairzinho Rozenstruik in those early rounds against the cage. You can't have those same shots off a guy like Volkov. Like watching the Overeem performance against Volkov, where Volkov just basically had no respect for him whatsoever and walked him down and did basically whatever he wanted to Alistair Overeem the entire time. Then going back and watching that performance against Jairzinho Rozenstruik, where Rozenstruik's getting caught with big punches on the feet, losing on the feet in striking rounds. I feel like I'm going to have to go with Ciryl Gane here. His striking is just something that I haven't seen in the heavyweight division before. This is, in my opinion, This is, in my opinion, the best heavyweight striker, technically, we've seen. I know there's been some good ones. I really do believe that. But I don't think I've ever seen anyone from my history of watching the sport that has come in with this kind of striking, where you could see Ciryl Gane miniaturized with the same performances and see him fit right in the featherweight or lightweight division. Like the way he moves, bouncing on his feet, kicks very well, great footwork, switches stances, a lot of feints. You don't see that kind of stuff at heavyweight. You often see a lot of guys who just swing big haymakers, and now I feel like we're getting this next wave of talent right now with the Tom Aspinalls, where everything's a little bit more technical, everything's a little bit more crisp, a little bit more pretty, and their heavyweights are actually starting to get technically good at fighting. And I think Ciryl Gane's going to lead the charge with that, with a big win this weekend against Jairzinho Rozenstruik. On the chin in the second round, I think he'll win the kicking game in the fight, and I think even this, I'll mention this as well, Ciryl Gane can take down Jairzinho Rozenstruik. If there is an option for him to do so, If I first of all don't see Ciryl Gane getting outstruck in this fight by Jairzinho. I see him out kicking him at range, using the front kick, using that long reach that he has with his legs and his arms, which he's going to just completely tower above Jairzinho Rozenstruik. He's got longer legs by far, longer arms by far. I think he'll use that distance well. He always controls the reach and the range very well in his fights, and I don't think Jairzinho's going to be able to close the distance without getting tagged on the chin like he was against Alistair Overeem, and Overeem is not the best at controlling the distance compared to a guy like Ciryl Gane. And watching the two fights with JDS, Ciryl Gane just had zero problems with him. And Jairzinho had a close first round on the feet with JDS in his old age. And I know that Ciryl Gane is technically Gane, sorry. I know that Ciryl Gane, I hate it! It's not a good name. Gane. It's Gane. There's no accent above it, so I don't understand. Whatever. Ciryl Gane is a great fighter. He had no problems with JDS, and Rozenstruik had a close first round and caught JDS in the second with a shot as he backed up against the cage like he usually does. Gane literally just toyed with JDS the entire fight long. No repercussions for anything whatsoever. No danger he was in at any point in that fight. He literally just schooled JDS start to finish. I've got to take that into consideration here. And I think he can take down Jairzinho Rozenstruik if he wants to as well. I really do believe that. Like, if he wants to go out there, take Jairzinho Rozenstruik to the ground, I do believe he can. He's shown great takedowns in his career so far. Great grappling so far. I mean, against Dontel Mays, he basically just said, you know what? It's the end of the fight. I haven't finished him with strikes yet. I just want a heel hook. That's basically what he said. You know what, it's the end of the fight. Dontel Mays, you've survived my beating so far because I don't have crazy power. Ciryl Gane doesn't have the most amazing power in the world. But Dontel Mays, you've survived my beating. I was trying to finish you with body kicks the entire fight long. That was very obvious, Ciryl Gane. You were trying to finish him with body kicks the entire fight long. Didn't happen. Dontel Mays was a tough guy. You know what? I'm just going to heel hook him at the end here. I want to finish. I'm going to do it. It was literally exactly like that. He realized to himself, you know what? I'm not finishing this guy. I'm just going to rip a heel hook at the end of this fight with 14 seconds left because I don't want to go to a decision on my record yet. Then he did go to a decision against Tanner Boser, and I know a lot of people are talking about, well, Jairzinho's been in there for 5 rounds. He has the experience. I don't like the experience that he had in a 5-rounder because it was an experience losing to Alistair Overeem pretty much. And that's not good at Overeem's point in his career because I would 100% pick Ciryl Gane to dismantle Overeem even before the Volkov fight. Like, it's just... I think there's 2 different levels of striking that are going to be on display this weekend. Jairzinho Rozenstruik's very good, but I think Ciryl Gane, if the striking doesn't work out, can go to the grappling. And if the striking is not working out for Jairzinho Rozenstruik, he has nothing to do. He's just going to have to accept being outstruck or being on his back on the ground. He's a little bit more one-dimensional than Ciryl Gane, and I think Ciryl Gane's shown a lot of versatility in his game so far. He's got another submission win over Rafael Pessoa in his career even. Took him down, got an arm triangle, didn't even take him down, sorry. Reversed a takedown of Rafael Pessoa, ended up on top, got the arm triangle in the first round. Amazing performance there as well. I just don't see Rozenstruik being able to close the distance with his small size, and I think Ciryl Gane's going to pick him apart from range the entire fight long, and the winner of this one should take on Derek Lewis. I know Derek Lewis is now calling out Alistair Overeem, but no, that's not how it works. You don't get a title elimination bout of Overeem coming off a loss to Volkov. Fight the winner of Rozenstruik versus Gane in August. Then we'll figure out after that what we're going to do with Jones at heavyweight against the winner of Miocic versus Ngannou, because that's apparently been promised. Heavyweight's a tough division right now, but I'm so glad, kind of in hindsight. I know I picked Curtis Blades, and maybe my heavyweight incorrect pick streak will live on. However, I did pick Volkov over Overeem by KO pretty easily, and I said he would walk down Overeem and piece him apart and finish him with ease. But even still, I'm somewhat glad that Blades got finished, because if Blades won, we'd have to kind of give him a title shot, and that would ruin all of these big fights at the top of the division. So doing it this way and having Derek Lewis get the upset, we now get more time, just an extra few months, to figure out something else to fight for a title, and I think the winner of Rozenstruik versus Gane is going to be in a position to earn a title elimination bout. Volkov might have to wait for the loser of Ngannou versus Miocic if they're going to fight again. We'll see how things go, but I've definitely got Ciryl Gane going out there and finishing him in the second round by TKO. I think he kicks at Rozenstruik early, picks him apart with the kicks. The front kick's going to be good here, and I just think he's all over him and way better at striking. In all honesty, I know Rozenstruik's got the striking background in kickboxing, but it's just very obvious. You can't be getting outstruck by the Reem. I don't care what he had wrong with him. You can't be getting outstruck by the Reem at any point. And I know he had some good moments where he put Reem against the cage and landed some good shots in a flurry and a couple of good front kicks. And he was doing a lot of knees off the back when he had his back on the cage. And that was sort of racking up the significant strikes for himself. But the Reem was literally just, you know what? I'm going to try and land this left hand. Bang! Straight left hand right on the chin of Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I don't see him being able to survive against Gane, watching his previous performances. But I don't mind. He's got a good chance in winning. He's got KO power. Gane's not been KO'd. He's been hit by big guys. He's been hit on the chin a couple of times and shown to have a good chin. It's not like we've seen him wobbled in a couple of fights or dropped in a couple of fights or like KO'd in a fight earlier in his career and there's some questions about his chin. I feel like Ciryl Gane's going to go out there and get the job done this weekend. Like and subscribe. Click that button up there. Goodbye. I'll see you later.